you
Don't
once.
kill Ollie.
Hello. Imagine being trapped on your roof with nothing but 10 feet of water surrounding you. No help in sight, no food. Sadly, this is not a theoretical situation. Robin Finn did an article about a displaced occupant, and she continued to press him and ask the questions. He recalled seeing his grandmother's attic float by and then quickly submerging in the water. And then being pressed more, Robin Finn discovered that he knew it was his grandmother's attic because it was his grandmother's body still in the attic of the house that was floating by. Not everyone has been affected in such a way, but everyone knows somebody that's been affected some way, somehow by Hurricane Katrina. My Uncle Rick Jones is a resident in New Orleans, and he is also the head baseball coach of the program there. Through the accounts of Rick Jones, I'd like to share with you how Hurricane Katrina affected him personally, how it affected his baseball program, and how it affected his school as well. Let's begin how it affected my uncle on a personal level. It was Saturday while he was moving in as freshman when he heard about the storm. He got a call from his athletic director that it was a Category 5 hurricane heading his way and that they were to evacuate. It was only after he got out, and he got every single one of his players out, they were either staying with his families or another player's families, that he was able to leave. So next Sunday, or the following day, Sunday, 10 a.m., the 28th, Rick Jones, his wife, his niece, and his 3 dogs packed in a small BMW and headed to North Carolina. In the bumper-to-bumper traffic, one can imagine that this could be quite the headache. It took them the usual 3.5-hour drive from New Orleans to Mobile, Alabama. It took them 13 hours to get there. And that's where they stayed for the night. They woke up to good news, according to Rick Jones. The word was that the storm had missed them. However, soon pictures began flooding the airways of massive amounts of water being contained in the city. It wasn't the winds and the rains that affected New Orleans as much as the break in the 17th Street Canal. This canal is just 5 miles from my uncle's house. Rick Jones said it was at that point that everything changed. And it's very true. The break in the canal was due to the storm surge of Hurricane Katrina and can be blamed for the immense flooding. We can all remember seeing all the pictures flooding the news waves of the disaster of the war zone that was in New Orleans. However, seeing your own city, the city you love, the city you work in, I couldn't imagine being my city that was being flooded. Rick Jones was not just wondering about his house or about his work, he was also worried about his program. He was wondering if he was ever going to have a program again. Along with the rest of Hurricane Katrina, or along with the rest of Louisiana, Katrina left Tulane's Rick Jones wondering what's next, what's going on. I have this picture here, and this picture right here is the scoreboard of Tulane's Westfield practice facility. When I was reading the article at Tulane Sports Revival of Katrina's Winds and Water, written by New York Times' Katie Thomas, I froze. Because I have 9 years of my life spent on this field, and then I saw that it's got 2 feet of water on it. I've hit many a baseball all over this brick wall and onto the yards back there. And the yards there is on the famous Audubon Boulevard. 200 yards this way is Tulane Stadium. So everything is underwater. The destruction of Tulane and its athletic program facilities was evident from the get-go. From the pictures on CNN, on Fox News, everywhere was showing it. And that gave Rick Jones even more reason to wonder if he was ever going to have his program again. Thankfully, Tulane's president Scott Cowan lifted the cloud, and on September 2nd, 2005, Tulane's president gave word that Tulane was going to continue its athletics, carrying the torch, supporting Tulane's name, even though they weren't going to hold classes in the fall of 2006. 8 days after the storm, Uncle Rick got a call from the AD saying that they were going to be in Lubbock, Texas for the fall. They moved the entire team to Lubbock, Texas, and they attended Texas Tech University and the pass-fail classes. They had full range of the facilities there, and Texas Tech really opened their arms for them. However, still, it was tough. You can imagine this discomfort of getting to the class 2 weeks late, not knowing anybody there in a brand new city. And Nathan Southern, Tulane senior, was recorded saying, for the first couple of weeks there, you felt like the new guy. And that could be imaginable. The ability to recruit was hit hardest by Hurricane Katrina. The New Orleans was presented as a war zone, and it was presented like that for many weeks following the city's destruction. Even when ranked number 1 the previous season, they had high hopes, but 0 out of the 12 recruited players to play for them next year ended up committing. I remember a story about my uncle who has just picked up a recruit from the airport, and the first question his mother asked him was how much of the city was still underwater, even though the city had been dry for months now, for months. It was the pictures of the news that kept on playing that showed Louisiana still underwater. Tulane's baseball overcame tremendous obstacles. They had to go to Lubbock. They were away from their families. When they came back, they didn't have a school or a home field to go to. They played at a Zephyr Field, a AAA ballpark nearby, but it wasn't quite the same. Rick shared with me how he motivated his team through such a time, and he told me that everywhere you're going to go, you're going to see sheetrock on the streets, and that's because everybody's gutting their houses, gutting their businesses, and they're going to be working like heck trying to get back to where they were, and they're going to have one little vacation, and that's going to be seeing you play that night, and that's how Tulane baseball got hyped up. However, Katrina did not just affect the baseball program, it affected the whole university. Students were displaced and unable to attend 2006 fall classes due to the storm. Campus was spared and only received 2 to 3 feet of water. However, this 2 to 3 feet of water created $650 million worth of damage and caused Tulane to go through severe cuts. Its staffing went down from 4,700 down to 4,000, and its athletics programs were cut in half, from 16 to 18. Thankfully, the baseball program was still one of the programs being held there. If the student had a scholarship on one of the programs that were cut, they were still able to be a part of or still go on scholarship to Tulane. So they upheld the scholarship. In conclusion, Katrina made landfall in 2009 or in the 29th of August in 2005. It changed lives. Everybody's life. My life, including Rick Jones's life. It is the most costly national disaster ever to hit the U.S. And it left people in Louisiana pay for it. In the Rick Jones's words, life in Louisiana has certainly changed, but for the better. The city of New Orleans has improved, and it has improved through the school systems, through the government, through the police. Everything seems to have been weeded out and cleaned. The people that came in to help seem to stay there, and now, in Rick Jones' words, it's come to a more proactive city. As of next fall, all sports programs at Tulane University will be back, including 2 more. They're including women's soccer as well as women's volleyball. Tulane's application numbers are up astounding %. They're up to 60,000 applications expected this coming year. And I've even seen the improvements. The city's cleaner. There's less crime. Also, the city seems like it's banded together and become more of a family. The name Katrina has a Greek meaning of pure. And I really think Hurricane Katrina lived up to its name and purified the city of Louisiana. Thank you.
That was good.
Very good. Very good.